Hello everybody, Sussex Biker here. I just thought I'd do an install video on how to install frame sliders stroke crash bungs. There's not much information out there. The instructions aren't too bad. I've got R&G crash bungs. I would imagine for any 2-bolt fixing it'll be the same procedure. I think it'll probably work for any street triple up to 2012. I don't know about the 2013. I would imagine it's quite similar. Yeah, so you'll need, for this job, you'll need a small posi drive screwdriver, 8mm socket, 14mm spanner, 10mm spanner, ratchet, extension, and I'm using a 10mm socket, a 8mm hex key, 5mm hex key, torque wrench for torquing up the engine mounting bolts, and you'll need an 8mm socket to get the indicators off. Now, I know some people have done these without taking anything off. Basically, the back bolt here, there isn't a nut behind it, but on the front one, I'll have to move my head, hopefully you can see it. On this front engine mounting bolt, there is a nut. Now, on the the right hand side of the bike, you can get, I'm touching it now, I can get my fingers around them and hold it, it's not a problem. Left hand side is very, very awkward. I think you can lay up underneath with the bike and put a spanner up close, but you run the risk of damaging the radiator. My opinion, why bother? It doesn't take that long to get the indicators and the radiator cowlings off and swing the radiator forward, and then it's a hell of a lot easier. So yeah, firstly we're going to undo the indicator. So on the front of the indicator, and apologies I'm teaching anyone to suck eggs, obviously if you know what you're doing, why you're even watching this video. But in case you need any guidance or help, there's a little Phillips screw, so we're going to undo that first. That will enable us to get the lens off. There we go, that just comes off like that. Now it's a good idea to put your bits and pieces off the floor on something so you don't tread on them. It's always a good idea, because if you're clumsy like me, you'll end up treading on them. And then we'll undo this 8mm bolt, like so. There we go, and there is a washer behind here, behind this indicator, there we go. So I'm just going to put that down like so. And then what we can do is I'm just going to move my head because I don't know how good this camera angle is. We can tease this out, just pull on the loom there, or push on the loom like that. There we go. And then we can take away the 2 male connectors, like so. That's that. And then that just pulls out. There we go. And we'll put that on there. And then next thing we need to do is undo the 3 bolts, hold the radiator cowling on. Now 2 are 1 length and 1 is a long length. The longer one, or the slightly longer one, goes in the top left hole. So we'll undo these. You'll notice I'm undoing these by hand, they don't actually need to be that tight. So we'll undo that. There we go, and just feed the like that, you see, there we go, and we'll just pop that down there, and there's my 3 bolts there. Right, I'll go around and undo the other side in a second. Now, we've got radiator mounting bolts, so what we're going to do is, there's 2 at the top, which we're just going to slacken off, we're not going to undo them completely. I don't know if you're going to see this, I have taken pictures and I'll put them in between. There's a bottom 8mm bolt here. I just say 10, didn't I? But it's 8 actually. So that's what we're going to undo. So we can take that one right out. So let's get that chap out. There we go, that's on the floor if you want it. And then we're going to slacken off this top one. I might as well do it while I'm round this side. There we go, that's slackened off. So I'm just going to go around the other side, and I'll leave that under the bike. We'll go around and do the other side. It doesn't take that long. So put that there. Take that off. That's my helmet hitting the fucking handlebars. Never mind. And again. There we go. So connector, pull. You might just have to help it out there, but it will come out. Pocket. Right. I'll tighten these. Lovely. Right, there we go. That's the other radiator cowling off. Sorted. Right, now on this side, you've got a nut and a bolt that holds the top radiator mounting. There's a little plastic cap, so you just take that off. You can hold this while you undo it with your ratchet by fingers. Or try to, if you're lucky. Yeah, see, that's kind of spinning. So we're just gonna. That's where I was getting confused with the 10mm. Now hold it with the spanner. Just unwind it. There we go. Just undo it a little bit, and you see now. If you can see that, you can move the radiator. But believe me, that is just enough that now I can get my hand up underneath the back of that engine mounting bolt, and yeah, I'll be able to undo it. So now we're going to undo the engine mounting bolts. So I need my 8mm hex key. And you should, if you're lucky, depending on how long your bike's been on the road. Yeah, see, that one's, I've got to need a spanner for that one. Cool, that is tight. Obviously, again, not telling anyone how to suck eggs, but you need, with these hex type fixings, you need to make sure that you get the Allen key right in there before you give it any grief, else you might be able to slip, it will slip out. Right, now we're undoing those. So you get to a certain point, and then you can just use your fingers. He says. Right, there we go. There's the nut. There's an engine mounting bolt. And the back one. Right, there we go. Oh, it's got a copper slip on it. That's from factory. Right, well, we'll do the same then. Just grab some copper slip. It was a good idea if you have got some to do this. It just means if you ever have to get it out again, you know it will come out. Right, So on the right hand side it's the longer bar. I'm just going to pull a bit of copper slip on there. And it has this stepped washer this side. It does explain this in the instructions. So, in theory, there we go. It's doing up nicely. And of course, we've got to get that nut on now. So use the original nut. There you go. So we'll do them up by hand first. And I think I'm going to have to use the spanner for this. So you can just get it up by the exhaust. Like so. Now, that's tightish. Now, torque it up now. The factory manual, they say the engine mounting bolts are 48 Newton meters. On the R&G instructions, it says 40 Newton meters. I did email the factory and asked them if that is right. And they emailed me back and said, that is right, no more than 40 Newton meters. Now, I don't understand that, but that's what they're saying. So, I should talk it up to 40 Newton meters and then keep an eye on it. Also, I believe there is a sequence for doing up these engine mounting bolts, and I believe it's the front first and then the back. So, that's what we're going to do. There you go, it's one. There you go. And then, see, now they're done up. Now we can fit the crash bung. Now, just as a thing, because the other thing I had to email the factory about was this serrated washer. It doesn't actually say in the instructions where that goes. And I thought it went behind that nut. It doesn't. You've got a 17mm hex bolt that goes through to hold your bobbin on. That's where it goes. In there. That's where it goes. And I didn't get a 17mm socket out of the bleeding toolbox, did I? Out of the socket thing. 15, 16, 17. There we go. 17mm. Now there are precise instructions about doing this up. They say to do it up until you feel a bit of compression, and then go a little more, and then go quarter of a turn, using a figure of no more than 40 Newton meters. And also the big bit of the bobbin goes to the front of the bike, and then I guess it's just up to you to put it how you think. So I guess something like that. So you're just going to do this up, make sure I'm happy with how it is. It's about straight. Well, I felt some compression. I think I'm going to use the old torque wrench and see if we've got 40, if it says no more than 40 Newton meters, I'm going to set it to 35. That way, I'm 5 under what they say. Actually, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to go 30 Newton meters, because that feels like that's going too tight. Even at 30. Fuck it, that'll do. I'm happy with that. And then you can just put your little cap in, he says. There you go. One side done. Let's get the other side done. I think that's, and this is the hard, well, it's easier now we've undone the radiator. So, sucking that one off. I think now you can move the radiator, you can, and actually I'm holding that one with my fingers and it's coming undone. And we're sucking up. God, that's tight. Yeah, I wasn't going to bother copper slipping these bolts, but seeing that they've been done from factory, and I must admit I disagree with that, copper slipping the threads, because you're talking a bolt up, and if you torque figures are normally for bolts with dry threads, so in my opinion you should leave it dry. You know, copper slip the shank by all means so it doesn't seize in there. But right, so once again I'm just putting some copper slip on there. I need a little bit. There we go. Oh. Alright, so we get that nut on. And then we'll just do that up. And that's my neighbour just turning up. She's going to think I'm fucking nuts. So, there we go. Torque wrench, 40 Newton meters. As you do. Yep, that's turning. So, like we said before, you can do the front first. You probably won't see this on camera, but you can just look through and see it. There you go. There you go. That's one torqued up. I'll just torque up the back one. There you go. Right, and then like we said before, serrated washer goes in there on that bolt. So we're just going to whip that up. Again, you've just got to do this by eye really. So a big bit of the wedge goes to the front. Obviously if you're fitting different crash bungs, you have to follow the instructions for that. So just got to, I'm going to use a shorter extension. Just got to spy that up. I'm just going to sit down. I think about that personally. So again, I'm just going to do it up till I feel compression, or what I think is compression, and that's probably about it. So I'm just going to set that to 30 Newton meters, just for a safe. So I've got a safe figure to work to. That's, I can feel that's, do you know what I mean? You just got to get a feel for it, and that is as tight as I want to do that, I think. And then just pop your cap in. There you go. Right, so that's all I need to do now is refit, put everything back together. So firstly, we're going to, the radiator, we've got to screw that back into position. So we probably need to go around the other side firstly, because we need to get the bottom bolt in that we took out, which I left on here. So just push the radiator back, get it into the right place. There we go, and do that up. Again, apologies not telling anyone how to suck eggs, but these really don't need to be that tight. Okay, and then we do the top one up. Again, just don't be heavy-handed. They're only small bolts to start with. Now again, this one on the left-hand side is the one that's got the 10mm nut behind it. Right. Just do that up. That's it. It's done. That's the plastic cap that has to go on. It's just to protect the threads from dirt and crap. We'll just push that on. I mean, I'll look down the front of the bike. I don't know if you can see it, but that's where it goes. Now we can put the radiator cowls on. So we need our 3 Allen bolts, left-hand cowling, and like I said, out of these 3 bolts, 2 are short and 1 is slightly longer. Probably won't be able to see that, but you might be able to. Again, I did take a picture. I might put it in depending on how this comes out. And the slightly longer one goes on the top. So we take a 5mm, and we've got feeder indicator wiring through, which goes through the front hole, I think, if I'm right. Yeah, it does. And then all we need to do that's one. Now again, when we do these up, these don't need to be that tight. And they have got like a little collar on, so you just need to make sure that when you do up the cowling, that you get it in the right place so that the head of the bolt goes flush. You'll know what you mean when you know what I mean when you go to do it. Like that. It's got to go flush. And be careful, make sure you do that, because if you don't get that collar in the right place, you will do it up and you will crack it. Now you see, again, I'll use the ratchet, but I really am not going to do these that tight, because they're only tiny threads and you will cross thread them. So just literally, I'm holding the ratchet at the top so I don't give it too much. And there you go. Okay, now we can fit the indicator, which is quite easy. Ooh, how did that happen? Right. So first thing, we need to get that out. We need to get the wiring through. So that's what we're going to do. See, I keep forgetting to move my head. I need a cameraman. There we go. So we pull the wiring through, and we've got a bit to play with. And then it's quite obvious, or explanatory. The shorter wire goes on the nearest one to the middle of the bike. And then just again, this indicator's just got like a little, see that little oval thing? That clips on the corresponding thing inside the indicator. So we're just gonna, you'll see what I mean. It goes like that. And then we can screw the lens back on again. You don't need to go mad with this screw. It's only a tiny screw. It's a funny noise. Sorry about that. Again, you just need to nip it. And then, remember, like I said, there is a washer that goes underneath. Again, let's just grab my screwdriver. The 8mm socket. I don't know why I said 10mm at the start. Sorry about that if I've misled anyone. It's 8mm. Now again, you really don't need to go that nuts with this. So just nip it up. And after you've done it, just, after the first ride, just come back and recheck all your fixings. Make sure they haven't come loose. But I think it's better to do that than over tighten stuff and break it. Right, so again, we're just going to probably speed this bit up if I can work out how to do it. So we're just going to pop the wiring through there. I didn't pick up the bolts, did I? So, right here, grab away. So We'll grab the long one first. There we go. There you go. And again, just gonna nip these up. They don't need to be that tight. Let's feed the wires through. You have got a bit of slack to play with. Short one goes on there. Long one goes on there. There you go. Put the tab in. There you go. I lost a screw. So tiny, can't see it. You need to be careful of that. They are so tiny. And again, then just your nut, your bolt, sorry, and your washer. Pop that through. And just gently do it up. There you go. Job done. RNG crash bungs fitted.